Welcome to this sewing tutorial where I'm going to show you how to make the cloud pouch. This is a soft quilted pouch that is as practical as it is adorable. This cosmetic bag is fully lined and features a simple quilting for texture and closes with a zipper for a polished finish. You'll have the option to sew it in three different sizes, mini, medium, and large, making it perfect for anything you want to storage, from makeup to travel essentials. This project is suitable for adventurous beginners and intermediate sewists, offering the chance to practice quilting on a smaller scale while learning zipper and lining techniques. Whether you keep it for yourself or you're gifted, this pouch is a charming project you'll want to make again and again. And with this being said, let's go over the materials you need to bring this project to life. First, your main fabric. For best results, choose medium weight fabrics that hold their shape and work well with quilting. Cotton fabrics are the most recommended option since they are easy to handle. In the handbook, you will find a list of suggested fabrics in case you want to check it out. Next, your lining. Choose a lining that complements your fabric. Lightweight cotton or poplin are recommended to avoid excess bulk inside the pouch. You will also need polyester batting, used as the inner layer for quilting. You can play with different batting thickness depending on the look you want to achieve. A thicker batting will give the pouch a puffer, more cushioned effect, while thinner batting keeps it sleek and flexible. Just keep in mind your sewing machine's capacity to handle the extra bulk when quilting. Your regular sewing thread. Choose a color that matches or contrasts your fabric. Next, your zipper. You can use a closed-end nylon coil zipper that matches or complements your fabric. Also, you can use metal zipper which adds a decorative sturdy touch or a decorative zippers in general. Since the pattern comes in three different sizes, you will need a specific zipper length for each pouch. You'll find the recommended zipper measurements for every size in the handbook. And last but not least, your pattern. You'll find it below in the description box. It comes in layered PDF files and in different paper sizes, so you can either print all the sizes at once or just your desired size. Now it's time to prepare the fabric by pressing it with enough steam to pre-shrink it, and repeat the same process for your lining as well. Next, start cutting your fabric. The external piece of the pouch needs to be cut twice, once in the main fabric and once in the batting. If you like your batting layer to be thicker and give the pouch more structure, you can simply cut your batting twice and layer them together, like double layer the piece. And for the lining, you will need to cut the internal pattern piece twice. Next, cut two pieces of fabric. It will be two squares of 2 by 2 inches. This step is optional but extremely helpful if you are using a zipper that is slightly shorter than the recommended size, as these fabric pieces will cover the zipper ends so the tape won't be visible once the zipper is inserted. Now it's time to start the quilting. To do so, place the batting piece underneath the body main fabric piece. Secure the layers together using sewing clips. For extra control and to prevent shifting while quilting, you may also run a few basting stitches around the piece and edge stitch to secure the edges as well. Begin by marking the quilting lines on the right side of the main fabric. You can use a heat-sensitive fabric marker or any removable marking tool of your choice. The pattern includes a quilting grid with vertical lines, which is the base style for this pouch. But if you like to add a personal touch, you will also find an extra document with sample quilting styles. For best results, I recommend you to make sure your fabric is laid flat and smooth before marking the lines. You could do this step before adding the batting if you feel it's going to be more comfortable for you to work. Now it's time to begin quilting. A quilting presser foot can make this step much easier, especially if you decide to try free motion quilting for a unique design. Since my quilting design is just straight vertical lines, I'm gonna stick to my regular presser foot, and I'm gonna start quilting by stitching along the marked lines. I recommend you to set your stitch length to about 3.5 millimeters. This slightly longer length keeps the stitches smooth over the batting and helps avoid bunching. If your fabric is larger than your sewing area, start quilting from the center and work outwards will help you prevent puckering and keep the layers nice and flat. Once the quilting is complete, hover your iron gently over the fabric to erase the markings. Avoid pressing at this stage to keep the quilting texture nice and puffy. Next, carefully remove all the basting stitches and trim away any excess batting around the edges. Keep in mind that due to the stitching process, the main fabric may shrink slightly, so be sure to trim neatly to restore the original shape and size of the piece. Now it's time to prepare the zipper ends. As I mentioned before, this is optional but extremely helpful. To do so, take the small fabric squares and fold them in half with wrong size facing. Align one piece on each end of the zipper tape just below the zipper stopper. Secure in place and top stitch along the edge. Be careful to not cut the stopper when you are sewing. Then just trim any fabric excess. To continue, install the zipper. Open the zipper and place it along one of the top edges of the pouch with right sides together. The zipper will be facing down towards the quilted body piece. If needed, secure it with clips or pins. Use a regular zipper foot and stitch along the edge. Keep the stitching straight and close to the zipper teeth, but make sure not to stitch too tightly so the zipper will open and close smoothly. If the zipper pull gets in the way while stitching, stop with the needle down, leave the presser foot, move the pull past the needle, and continue sewing for a clean line. Next, fold the body piece in half, right sides facing, to bring the opposite raw top edge in line with the other zipper tape. If needed, clip or pin in place, and again stitch along the zipper area to secure. Then, take one lining piece and place it on top of the zip, with the right side facing down towards the quilted body piece. Align the raw top edge of the lining with the zipper edge and secure it with pins or clips, creating this kind of fabric zipper lining sandwich. Using your zipper foot, stitch along the edge, following the previous zipper seam as a guide, sewing directly on top of it. Repeat the process with the other lining piece on the opposite side of the zipper as well. After that, open your lining and press it carefully into place, taking care to not melt or damage the zipper. Then, to keep the lining from getting caught when opening and closing the zipper, top stitch along the zipper edge on both sides. Keep your zipper open and with right sides facing, align the bottom edge of the lining pieces. Sew along the edge using 3/8 of an inch of seam allowance and leave a small opening. This gap will serve as an escape hole for flipping the pouch right side out later. Moving on to the next step, let's sew the side seams. To do so, with right sides facing, align the side edges of the body and lining. Make sure all layers, body and lining, are matched evenly. Sew along both sides using 3/8 of seam allowance, stitching through all the layers at once to close the sides of the pouch. To reduce bulk, clip the corners, press and trim any excess of seam allowance. Next, it's time to close the box corners. To do so, flatten each corner by aligning the side seam allowance with the center of the folded edge and pin to secure it. Repeat exactly the same procedure for the body and the lining. Then place the lining on top of the body, aligning both edges. Pin to secure it in place and sew across the corners perpendicular to the seam using 3/8 of seam allowance, stitching through all layers of body and lining. This technique allows you to secure the body and lining together at once, but you can also sew them separately if you prefer. Hitting the top corner, I'm leaving a video for you to check in case you want to sew the pieces separately. For smaller pouches, sewing the boxed corners may be a bit trickier. Because of the size of the pieces, sometimes they can feel a little tangled, but it's completely doable. You just need to take your time with this step. Trim the seam allowance close to the stitching to reduce bulk. You can also press it. And just repeat the same procedure in all corners until you close all of them. Using the escape hole in the lining, carefully flip the pouch right side out. Next, fold the seam allowance of the lining opening inwards and top stitch along the edge to close the gap neatly. Gently push out the seams and corners using your fingers, a knitting needle, or a chopstick to achieve a crisp, defined edge. And this is how your pouch looks once it's finished. You can leave it as it is, or you can personalize it with any decorative detail. as I'm just doing with this set, adding a ribbon bow that I'm attaching by hand directly into the pouch. And this is the final look of the cosmetic set. I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me as much as I enjoyed preparing this tutorial for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I promise I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you like this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you have a happy sewing and I will see you in the next video. Bye!